The regular season for the Chinese Professional Baseball League of Taiwan gets started on Saturday, March 13th, the 32nd season for the CPBL. Last year in April, the season opened there, making it the first professional league to start its season in the COVID-19 era. This year's season opener won't be quite so historic, but it will be the first summer baseball league to get underway in 2021. As usual, they'll play a 120-game schedule running until September. The season will be split into two 60-game halves. The winner of each half season moves on to the best-of-5 Taiwan series. The biggest change for the 2021 season will be the return of the Weichuan Dragons. They were members of the CPBL from the inaugural season in 1990 until 1999. They returned last year but had to spend 1 year in the minors, where they won the farm team title. This year they compete at the big league level, giving the league 5 teams instead of 4 like they've had in recent years. So of course the scheduling will be different. Here's the Week 3 schedule so you can get an idea how it works. Monday is still a day off, that hasn't changed. 2 games per day from Tuesday to Sunday. Previously only 1 game was played on both Tuesday and Thursday. Each week has 2 sets of 3-game series, 1 set of 2-game series, and 4 sets of a single game. So 4 teams play 5 games a week while 1 team only plays 4. The best way to watch this league is to get a CPBL TV subscription. The cost is about $45 US for the whole season, and you can watch every single game live, plus replays and highlights. Link is in the description for a guide on how to sign up. Alright, now let's take a look at those 5 teams, starting with the reigning Taiwan Series champions, the Uni Lions. 1 year ago at this time, few thought we'd be calling them defending champions right now. After finishing 2019 in the cellar, they went into the 2020 season as the biggest underdog. So it was no surprise when they ended the first half with a record of 26-34, 11 games out of first, third out of the 4 teams. The offense was great, but the pitching was awful. So at the mid-season break they got rid of their underperforming foreign pitchers and signed new ones for the second half. The change turned out to be just what they needed. They didn't become the best pitching team, but with their offense they didn't have to be. They were 32-27-1 in the second half, winning the second half season title and going on to win the Taiwan Series, their 10th overall and first since 2013. Those pitchers will be back this year. 27-year-old Teddy Stankiewicz started 8 games and ended with a perfect 6-0 record and an ERA under 4. 31-year-old Tim Melville had among starting pitchers the lowest ERA, 2.93, and WHIP, 1.32. 26-year-old Brock DeShorn had the most starts, 12, and innings, 69 2/3, of the 3 pitchers. His ERA was over 5, but he still had a winning record. Joining the rotation this year will be 33-year-old left-hander Felix Dubron, a 6-year MLB veteran from 2010 to 2015. He spent the last 2 years in the Venezuelan Winter League. Closer is 25-year-old Yunwen Chen, one of the league's best relievers. He tied for the league lead in saves with 23 and only 5 blown saves, ERA 2.09, WHIP 1.09 in 56 games. Setup man is 25-year-old Chun-Jen Cheng. In 63 appearances he recorded 17 holds, third best in the league. Then of course there's the hitting, led by their 3-star outfielders. 23-year-old Anku Lin, a rookie last year who had come up as a pitcher, led the league and set a rookie record with 32 home runs. 26-year-old Chie Su was second behind Lin with 28 home runs, and 27-year-old Chie Xian Chen won the batting title with a .360 average, also the league leader in hits with 174, and 4th in stolen bases with 21. All the stars from last year's championship team are coming back, and they're all young. The only concern they might have is that the 3 foreign starting pitchers have yet to play a full season in the CPBL, so they might not get the same results as last year. And there's the possibility of a sophomore slump from Lin. But even if a lot of things go wrong, I would still call this team the favorite going into the season. The China Trust brothers were the first half champions in the 2020 season. At 37-23, they led the standings by 3 games at the midpoint of the season. In the second half, they almost won it again, finishing in 3rd place, only a game and a half out of first. They were first overall in the 2020 standings at 67-51-2, 9 games ahead of the second place team. In the Taiwan Series, they fell to the Uni Lions in 7 games. They currently have the longest title drought, having not won it since 2010. Since then, they have finished runner-up in the Taiwan Series 6 times. Unlike the Lions, the brothers were best known for their pitching, and most of their pitchers are back this year. The best one last year was 33-year-old Jose De Paula, the league leader in wins, 16, ERA, 3.20, and strikeouts, 192, enough to earn himself the league MVP award. 35-year-old Mitch Lively started 8 games in the season's first half, going 6-1 with a 3.94 ERA. He got hurt at mid-season and never returned. In his place, 35-year-old Esmel Rogers was called up and was a good replacement. 17 starts, 3.47 ERA, 9.3 strikeouts per 9. Both Lively and Rogers returned for the 2021 season. 24-year-old Ense Huang is another pitcher who went out with injury at mid-season. With a record of 9-2 and a 4.40 ERA, he was the top domestic pitcher in the league. But he will not be ready for opening day. He is out with shoulder fatigue and they are not sure when he'll return. The only starting pitcher not returning is Ariel Miranda. He signed with the Doosan Bears of the KBO during the offseason, and he will be missed. He was third in the league in ERA, wins, and strikeouts. The bullpen was mostly reliable. Closer C.C. Lee appeared 51 times, tied for the league lead in saves, and kept his ERA under 4. 22-year-old setup man Chun Wei Wu made 56 appearances, led the league with 24 holds, and had a 3.03 ERA. Their offensive star was 39-year-old outfielder Tse Chi Chow, the team leader in slugging at .589. Another outfielder, 33-year-old Chi Hao Chang, ranked third in the CPBL with 27 home runs. And 29-year-old infielder and team captain Wei Chen Wang led the team in batting, .339, and doubles, 29. Two new arrivals this year. Onelki Garcia, a 31-year-old left-hander, comes over from NPB, where he pitched the last 3 years. Before that, he made a few appearances for the Kansas City Royals. And Gabriel Inoa, a 27-year-old right-hander. He pitched in MLB for the Mets and Orioles, last summer in NPB for the Swallows, and had a 1.84 ERA in the Dominican League this past winter. This team just missed out on a league championship a year ago, and most of the major contributors are back. Having both Lively and Rogers in the rotation at the same time makes up for the fact that Miranda is gone. But they'll need Huang to come back soon if their pitching is going to be as effective as it was last year. Another concern is the players' ages. Most of their star players are up in their 30s, so you have to expect some sort of decline in the near future. Nevertheless, this team is still capable of winning the Taiwan Series. 1 month into the 2020 season, it looked like the Rakuten Monkeys were on their way to a 4th straight league title. But it was all downhill from there. Their big lead at the top of the standings dwindled down until it finally slipped away at the end of the first half, as they finished 3 games behind the brothers. They were 34-26 in the first half. In the second half, they were 25-35, 7.5 games out in last place. They were second overall at 59-61, but since they didn't win either half, they didn't qualify for the Taiwan Series. Hitting was good, led by 25-year-old infielder Li Lin. He was second in batting with a .358 average, 6th in on-base percentage, .414, and 3rd in slugging, .613, and tied for 5th with 25 home runs. 29-year-old first baseman Yu Shen-chu was the league leader in slugging, .641, and 3rd in home runs with 27, though his power numbers were down quite a bit in the second half. 22-year-old catcher Chien-Fu Liao had 31 doubles and an on-base percentage over .400, the best offensive numbers among the league's catchers. Pitching will look very different for the Monkeys this season. Last year's ace Ryan Carpenter is no longer with the team. He is with the Hanwha Eagles of the KBO. Another foreign pitcher not returning is Luis Alberto Bonilla, who is now a free agent. They will welcome back a good domestic starting pitcher, 35-year-old lefty Yi Cheng Wang, a 10-game winner last year. 5 new foreign pitchers have been signed by the Monkeys. 29-year-old left-handed pitcher Dylan Overton played in MLB in 2016 and 17, and last pitched in 2019 in AAA. Then a trio of 31-year-old right-handers. Aaron Wilkerson pitched for the Milwaukee Brewers from 2017 to 2019. Deck McGuire was a Major League pitcher in 2017 and 18, and pitched in the KBO for the Samsung Lions in 2019. Braden Hagens made 2 appearances with the Arizona Diamondbacks in 2014, then played for the Hiroshima Carp for 2 years. He spent the last 2 winters in the Puerto Rican League. And 1 foreign pitcher with CPBL experience. 30-year-old lefty Ryan Bollinger last appeared in 2019 for the Fubon Guardians, winning record, .431 ERA, and 10.5 strikeouts per 9. The bullpen had a lot of problems last year. One reliever who was not a problem was 26-year-old Chu Peng Wang. In 59 appearances, he had a .312 ERA and 18 holds. 31-year-old Yu Shun Chen appeared 62 times, 12 saves, and 11 holds. With all the new pitchers coming in, it's hard to tell how this team's going to perform. If they get the job done, the team's got enough offensive weapons to win games. The Fubon Guardians in 2020 looked a lot like the Uni Lions. After a last-place finish in the first half, going 23-37, they swapped out pitchers and looked like a different team in the second half, going 31-28-1, 1 game out of first. Overall, they were 54-65-1, last out of the 4 teams, but their hopes of reaching the Taiwan Series were alive until the final week. The Guardians have not won nor reached the Taiwan Series since 2016 when they were known as the EDA Rhinos. 35-year-old outfielder Kuo Hui Kao was the CPBL Comeback Player of the Year after hitting 25 home runs, 26 doubles, and slugging .598. 35-year-old first baseman Yi Chuan Lin hit 22 home runs with a .361 on-base percentage. 26-year-old infielder Tsung Chien Lee was second in the league in stolen bases with 26. Pitching was led by 35-year-old right-hander Henry Sosa, 29 starts, just under 200 innings, 15 wins, and a .338 ERA, second best in the league. 36-year-old Mike Lowry has won 90 games in 9 CPBL seasons. He's not what he used to be though, ERA was up to 5 last year. 29-year-old lefty Manny Bañuelos joined the team at mid-season and was a big reason for the team's second-half turnaround. In 9 starts he picked up 6 wins, ERA .260, WHIP .125, and 10.7 strikeouts per 9. 32-year-old Nicaraguan J.C. Ramirez joins the rotation this year. He pitched in MLB from 2013 to 2019, including an 11-win season with the Angels in 2017. He pitched in the LMP the last 2 winters with Tomateros de Culiacan. And Xiao Qing-Qiang should be joining the team in the second half. The 27-year-old right-hander has spent the last 10 years in the Major League system, reaching as high as AAA. He has a fastball that tops out at 99 miles an hour. He's expected to be taken with the first pick in the CPBL draft by the Guardians in July. In the meantime, he has been signed to a development contract and can pitch in the minors. In the bullpen, they've got 35-year-old Hung Wen Chen. In 53 appearances, he recorded 16 saves and 7 wins, with a .477 ERA and a .148 WHIP. Though they lost more games than anyone else overall, they look like a championship team at the end of the season. With most of those second-half stars coming back, a championship is still a strong possibility. Then we have the new kids on the block. The Weichuan Dragons will be competing at the big league level after an absence of more than 2 decades. The team was very successful in its day, winning the Taiwan Series 4 times in its 10-year existence, including the last season in '99 and the first ever Taiwan Series in 1990. Not much is expected from the Dragons in their return season, no domestic stars in their lineup, but they've signed a really good batch of foreign players. 2 starting pitchers come over from Korea. 33-year-old Jake Brigham spent the last 4 years with the Kiwoom Heroes. Prior to that, he pitched 1 season for the Atlanta Braves. 30-year-old Drew Gagnon is the other one. He pitched for the New York Mets in 2018 and 2019. Last year he was in Korea with the Kia Tigers. 34-year-old Brian Woodall brings 6 years of CPBL pitching experience, the first 3 with the Brothers and the last 3 with the Guardians. He struggled last year though, going 2-9 with a .655 ERA in 15 starts. 34-year-old relief pitcher Junichi Tazawa joins the Dragons bullpen after 9 years and 388 appearances in Major League Baseball, but he has not pitched since the 2018 season. And 1 position player, Rosel Herrera, who can play outfield or second base. The 28-year-old last appeared for the Miami Marlins in 2019. This team probably won't be very competitive in their first season back, but they won't lose 100 games either. And we'll get to see some young stars start to emerge. That'll make this new team a lot of fun to watch. And those are the 5 teams for the 2021 CPBL season. As for my predictions, I can only try to guess what will happen in the first half. As we saw last year, teams can reload at midseason and look completely different in the second half. Lions have everything coming back from their championship team, so I'll pick them for first, followed by Brothers, Guardians, Monkeys, and Dragons, in that order. If you've got anything to add, leave a comment below. Also comment who you're rooting for in the CPBL this year. That's all for this one, and until next time, this is Baseball International. See ya!